Hello and welcome to Better Mental. Everyone wants to be happy. It's the one thing we all chase in different ways, through relationships, success, money, status, pleasure. And yet, despite all of this chasing, happiness seems to slip through our fingers. We achieve something we thought would bring us joy. And then we want more. We compare ourselves to others. We dwell on things we can't control. And the cycle of dissatisfaction continues. So, how do you actually find happiness? Not the kind that fades after a few hours, but real, lasting happiness. The Stoics had the answer. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't believe happiness came from chasing pleasure or external success. They believed happiness is an inside job. And today, I'm going to show you how to use Stoic wisdom to free yourself from the endless chase and build happiness that lasts. Let's start with the biggest mistake people make when it comes to happiness. They look for it in external things. We've all been conditioned to believe that happiness is something we find outside of ourselves. I'll be happy when I get that job, when I make more money, when I find the right partner, when I achieve my goals. But the problem is, external happiness is always temporary. The moment you reach one milestone, another appears. You adapt. You want more. The Stoics called this the hedonic treadmill. Epictetus put it simply, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. What does this mean? It means that happiness doesn't come from getting more. It comes from wanting less, from realizing that you already have enough. The key to happiness isn't in chasing, it's in contentment. Think about it. If you're always looking for the next thing, how can you ever be happy in the present moment? The Stoics believe that the present is all we truly have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present," meaning, the only place happiness can exist is here and now. Not in the past, not in the future, but in this very moment. Ask yourself, right now, without changing anything, what can I be grateful for? If you start seeing the present moment as enough, you will find happiness everywhere. Now, let's talk about one of the greatest barriers to happiness: comparison. Nothing steals joy faster than looking at someone else's life and feeling like yours is less. But here's the truth. You only see their highlight reel, never their struggles, never their pain. The Stoics taught that comparison is foolish because every person walks a different path. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Meaning, we spend so much energy worrying about what others have, instead of focusing on our own growth. If you want to be happy, stop comparing, and start improving yourself. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Another reason people struggle with happiness? They attach it to things they can't control. Think about it. How much of your happiness depends on things outside of your control? Other people's opinions, whether someone loves you back, whether a job opportunity works out, whether life unfolds exactly how you planned. But the Stoics teach us that happiness must be built on what we control, or else it's fragile. Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not." Meaning, if your happiness depends on something outside of your control, it is not real happiness. It is a gamble. Instead, the Stoics teach us to focus on what we control: our thoughts, our actions, our responses. When you stop basing your happiness on things you cannot influence, you become untouchable. You remain at peace, no matter what life throws at you. So, what actually creates lasting happiness? The Stoics identified three main things: virtue, perspective, and gratitude. Let's break them down. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from living a good life, from being honest, disciplined, courageous, and kind. Not from chasing pleasure, but from building character. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Meaning, happiness isn't about avoiding discomfort, it's about becoming strong enough to handle anything. If you want true happiness, don't chase comfort. Chase growth. Life is full of challenges, pain, uncertainty, but the Stoics teach us that your happiness depends not on what happens to you, but how you see it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts," meaning, every hardship can be seen as a burden or a lesson. Every setback can be seen as a curse or an opportunity. The choice is yours. Happiness isn't found in perfect circumstances. It's found in a strong mind that knows how to see the good in any situation. The Stoics practice something called negative visualization, imagining life without the things you take for granted. Your home, your health, your loved ones. Not to make yourself miserable, but to remind yourself of how much you already have. When you truly appreciate what you have, happiness is automatic. Seneca put it best. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. If you want happiness, start by being grateful for what you have now. Happiness is not something you wait for. It is not something you find in another person, in money, in success. Happiness is something you choose, right now, in this moment, by deciding that you have enough, by choosing not to compare, by shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have, by aligning yourself with virtue, by training your mind to see every challenge as an opportunity. So, let's recap. Why do most people struggle with happiness? Because they chase it in external things instead of finding it within. Because they compare themselves to others instead of focusing on their own journey. Because they base their happiness on things they can't control instead of on their own mindset. The Stoics teach us that real happiness comes from three things: virtue, perspective, and gratitude. Build your character. Train your mind to see the good in all things. Appreciate what you already have. When you do this, happiness is no longer something you chase, it's something you are. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Better Mental. This is a space for real self-improvement, where we focus on wisdom, not just temporary motivation. Keep growing, keep mastering yourself, and remember, happiness is not something you find, it's something you create.